Welcome to the live. This is Chit. I'm your host, Miss T. Let's get right into it. So, first on the docket, I just want to do an update on Massey, on the 10 prisoners that escaped. So, I'm going to do a quick update on that, and then we're going to move right into our actual tea. So, this is just an update. Let's go.
And I'm Kurt Sprang. Orleans Parish Jail escapee Antoine Massey is back in custody thanks to a tip to the sheriff.
New Orleans police have just wrapped up a news conference. WGNO's Rick Gogreve is there at NOPD headquarters. Rick.
Yes, Susie and Kurt, Antoine Massey has been captured after a multi-agency operation, making him the 9th of 10 inmates caught and back in custody. Now, they escaped 6 weeks ago, and authorities say Massey was arrested today on Strollage Street in Hollygrove. Now, the NOPD, the FBI, Homeland Security, OPSO, State Police, U.S. Marshals, and JPSO were all involved in the arrest, the result of a tip. Law enforcement says they're going to keep up a relentless search.
Everyone has really given an incredible amount of resources. It's through our resilience and, more importantly, our collaboration is why we were able to bring Mr. Massey into custody today. But let's not lose sight. One still remains Derek Groves, and without the public's help, I appeal to everyone to please reach out, contact Crime Stoppers, contact the ATF or the FBI. The collective reward remains at $50,000 for that fugitive, and it's imperative for the safety of this community and all of Louisiana that you reach out to us.
Like he said, Groves is the last escapee remaining, and so far, very little information about where he may be. You can call in an anonymous tip at 822-1111, and of course, we'll have a full recap of everything we know coming up at 10 o'clock, as well as on the ongoing search for Derek Groves. Susie and Kurt.
6 weeks in, Groves is the only remaining one. All right, thank you, Rick.
So, yes, that's you heard it. That wasn't a movie plot. It was a master class of poor decisions. But nevertheless, we only have one more person to actually catch, or they have a person to catch. So it looks like they caught him. But my question is, who helped him, right? Who was helping him? Because they're going to eventually get in trouble. So, yeah. So my question for you is, just a short update. Would you do this for someone you know that asked you to hide them out? Something to think about. We're going to move right on into our next segment, okay? All right. So, when the people who used to be silent in the background start speaking up, the real mess begins to unfold, okay? So, let's get into it. You already know Pdiddy. But, there's a lot going on with Pdiddy, so let's go over some of the facts. Hold on. Okay. So, right now we know just the timeline, some of the basic information. Back in 2023 of November, Cassie filed the lawsuit. The lawsuit was waived. Blah, 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 blah. Let's jump down to September 24, federal indictment. There's so much that's going on with this case. I'm just doing a quick timeline, okay? Then criminal charges came May through June 2025. We just finished that whole case. It took like weeks on weeks on weeks. Then they came up with the verdict, okay? And now we're just waiting for them to give his sentencing. Now, there's just a quick snapshot of what went on real quick. Now let's get into the next thing. Okay, because it looks like someone brought another lawsuit out. And I just want to get into the Mr. Claywood hired, who's one of the escorts that was hired by Combs or hired by Cassie to sleep with Cassie. And he alleges that he slept with Cassie for years. So I want to share a little bit of clip of Miss Tasha K, her interview that she shared the other day. It's a very short clip. If you want to watch the video in its entirety, check out it on Online with Tasha K. Let's get into it. We'll come back.
Never insinuated, yo, why don't you take some D? He never said that. She would go, she would tell him I'm ready. He would say, okay, you could start. He would watch, but he would be more of a protector. He would make sure nothing happened to her. He was incredibly protective of her.
They didn't put you or Rico on the stand.
No, because they knew we were going to say that she was complicit. And it's nothing wrong with her being complicit. He's still guilty of sex trafficking. Like, look at all the stuff they're exposing. In order to be guilty of sex trafficking and this RICO that they're charging him with, he basically just has to know about it, have benefited in some way, and financed it, which he clearly all did by booking rooms in the name of Frank Black. Mind you, I've checked into Frank Black rooms probably 15 times. Every room I checked into from Miami, LA, New York, I checked in under Frank Black. So I could verify that. The abuse, I physically saw him assault her at least 5 times. I can verify that. I got her pregnant. She told me I got her pregnant to my face. Let's see. It was a lot. I have no reason why they did not call me other than the fact I released that book, and they were afraid that if the fence got to me and they started asking me about Cassie, I was gonna say, yo, listen, no, that didn't happen. He didn't do that.
And yeah, as a millionaire, as anybody, you can't solicit prostitutes and pay them. Like, it is against the law, and it carries a long time. It's kind of it's teetering the lines of being a pimp, you know, and they take that kind of stuff serious. And even though girls are, it's crazy how the pimps get more time than the actual prostitutes.
Mm-hmm. It is.
Like, I feel like they have to do some changes when it comes to the laws behind.
So basically, this is Clayton Howard. He was a former escort. He alleges he was hired to sleep with Cassie under Diddy's instruction. So basically, he's claiming that Cassie was compliant, right? And that Diddy's notions were deeply controlling. And so now Clayton is now suing both Diddy and Cassie, which kind of put a twist on it a little bit, because I was really surprised that he was suing Diddy and Cassie. So yeah, that's what he's doing. So this is definitely beyond gossip. It's a glimpse into the world, but the manipulation, silence, and abuse wrapped in glam. And the allegations are true. What we're witnessing is power protecting itself for years. So basically, Diddy's been getting away with these things for years on top of years on top of years, and people are now finally speaking out. But it really didn't come to pass until Cassie came out, in my opinion. When she came out, that's when it broke it wide open, and here we are right now, right? But I'm sure he's not the only one that's going to be suing. Again, he's one of, but he's the main one because he said he slept with her for years. He got her pregnant, da 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 da. Clearly, she didn't have a child, okay? And so on and so on and so on. He also alleges, I'm not going to play the whole video, but he also alleges that Cassie gave him an STD. So that's the main reason why he's actually suing Cassie. But basically, you know, what was done in the dark comes to the light. So I'm sure, unfortunately, this is not over, even though Pdiddy is going to be sentenced. I think it's October. It's on the timeline that I read. But, you know, we're going to hear more people going to come out, more cases, more allegations. So nevertheless, as far as his case goes, we'll see what happens and what his sentencing will be. I'm not going to go too deep in that because, yeah, we've been dragging it out. So I'm going to move on to the next segment, okay? But before I do that, my question for you is...
and they take that kind of stuff serious.
Let me move forward. We've already heard this.
Girls are, it's crazy how the pimps get more time than the actual prostitutes.
Okay.
They have to do some.
So, what I wanted to ask the question was, do you think that basically, do you think that Cassie's a victim? That's really my question, right? Me and this video, we're working it out over here. But do you think Cassie's a victim? Or do you think she's part of the issue? Or do you think could she possibly be both, right? And that's the question. That's really the question for you. What do you think about that? All right, we're going to move on. I'm not going to stay on this too long, okay? Because we talked about it and beat a dead horse, but I'm sure more updates will come. There is so much going on. Let's move on to the next one. So, just a second, we're going to take a very short break, and we're going to come right back with the next segment, okay? Hold tight, okay? A minute. Okay, welcome back. Told you it wouldn't take me long. Just a second. So, yeah, we've been talking about toxic relationships and all the things and lawsuits. Golly. And so in speaking of past demons crashing present day peace, just when T.I. and Tiny thought they dodged the drama, Tiny said one little thing about Diddy's case being dismissed. And now, guess who's back, honey? Sabrina Peterson pulled the whole Harrison family back into the courtroom of public opinion. And you know, Ti and Tiny came out. They won like a defamation case. I forgot what the amount was. I probably should look that up, but it was a huge amount. I bet they thought they were done. But just like P Diddy's sad, but just like P Diddy and all the others, people are constantly coming out of the woodwork. But in this case, Sabrina Peterson, honey, she keeps coming back. She's definitely upset. All right. Sometimes silence is strength. Other times it's a setup. And Tanya might just handled Sabrina the mic back. So basically, her making the comment, as in Tiny, Sabrina got pissed off. This is what we know. Sabrina Patterson was revived trafficking allegations, claiming their son, King Harris, is now involved via leaked text, which is crazy. That is so crazy. Are you telling me they really think that they're saying that they trafficked a woman to their son King? And I don't know about that. That's really wild. That's huge. That's crazy to me. But anyway, original allegations date back to 2021 when were already explosive. So this is wild. I mean, we've heard some cases, but I'm not gonna lie. I can't imagine some parents doing this to their children. I just can't. But hey, can't imagine. Anyway, I did look up an article on the Jasmine brand about T.I. and Tyler's former friend Sabrina Patterson. And pretty much she's just basically saying that she said it's your turn, like your turn is next. So she's kind of threatening T.I. and Tiny. Now the thing about it is she did come out and say she had some proof. So she had some receipts that she was going to come out with. So I can't wait to see these receipts if she has any. But we'll see. But this is just another thing, another time. It's so many accusations out here. This is no longer clout chasing. It's a pattern of claims that refuse to fade. If you respond to a federal dismissal with a post, expect retaliation. When you open the door, your skeletons might walk through there wearing microphones. So basically, there was a clapback. Okay. Now let's take a breath because the drama just unpacked. So now we're going to move on to our next segment. But the last one hits close to home, especially for any woman doing motherhood, marriage, and mental load over 40. And guess who? Nelly. We're going to get into Nelly and Ashanti, which one of my favorite couples, okay? But we're going to get into them just a little bit.
The couple famously rekindling their romance nearly 10 years after they first split. Now they're ready to lay it all out there with their new reality show, We Belong Together.
So this particular show, they just came out, Nelly and Ashanti, which I am so excited for them. Congratulations to them for this show. I think they're a cute couple. And they've been back and forth for years. You know, they met back in 2003. They've been off and on for years. We're all like hoping they get together. And they finally got together. They got married in private. And then Ashanti had a baby. I think the baby's like 8 months old. So I'm happy for them. But you know there was going to be a thing when they came out with this reality show. They came out the reality show, and honey, it's been talk of the town. People been talking all over the place about Nelly and Ashanti. A lot of the fans are they're not really happy about the way Nelly responded. Nelly came back and said honey, was not going to change any pamper. He said he'd do anything for Ashanti, but he said he's not going to change any diapers. I was like, what? Really? I mean, he had this right, I guess, but Ashanti knew who she was marrying. I'm not trying to be funny. Ashanti knew who she was marrying. I know people saying, oh, you know, this, that, and the third. I mean, for real, some people call Nelly lazy. Some people call him no good. Don't shoot me. I'm just saying what people are saying, not me. But you know, the show kind of shows a lot of that she's carrying a lot of the work. But you know, as women, in most cases, not all the time, But in most cases, women, we tend to have to do all the things. We tend to have to take care of the kids, house, and the man, everything. So it just kind of him saying he wasn't going to change any pampers. I mean, ugh. I mean, I would hope he'd help, but then again, a twist on this is that some of this is kind of an old school thing. Some people from old school kind of feel this way, like they believe that like this not they don't want to chime in to be a actual dad as far as the caregiving until the child is able to walk and talk. And that's the impression that I get from Nelly. In fact, he pretty much said it. He said it one day. That's pretty much when he's gonna jump in when his child can walk and talk. I mean, as you look at it, most would say that's not really fair, you know. So yeah. So anyway, that's just been a whole thing. So let's get into what some people are saying and how they feel about this whole thing. I'm gonna take you back to the conversation we had before you kicked me under the table. Nelly told his unimpressed wife after they discussed the fact that he was about to head out for tour without them. I said, baby, I'll give you the world. I just ain't changing no diapers. Okay, that's what he said. I ain't going to even lie. Nelly went on to say, I ain't got nothing for him. Oh, yes, for many new moms, there comes a moment when you realize that weaponized incompetence is very real. And that many men, not all men, of course, not all men say that, still think that taking care of their own child is babysitting. Um, I know that firsthand. I know that firsthand. I've seen my own dad was that way. He helped out, and yeah, I know firsthand that there are guys who will jump in. They know they understand the concept of the fact that they're two parents and not one. But let's keep going into what's being said and what the fans are saying. Dad's not changing diapers in 2025 is not a flex. It's ever what like it as if it ever was. Women aren't born knowing how to change diapers. We have to learn it too. And quite often, while our insides are falling out, oh my goodness, our breasts are throbbing like fiery balls of milky fury, and we haven't slept in 3 days. Girl, I know, I remember. Guess what, guys? Women get tired too. And women don't love poop. But we know the mess and the eye bags and the chaos are a crucial part of caring for the person you love the most in the world, your baby. As one of as one fan put in on X, she waited all these years to have a baby by a teenager, while another referred to the singer as a married, and I guess forgive me, I guess I cut it off. But basically, the fans are not happy the way Nelly responded. They say that he should be giving her help. I tend to agree, but then again, it goes back to Ashante knew who she was marrying. I'm not trying to be funny. She already knew. Not saying it's right, but she knew who she was marrying. I do wish this couple the best. Um, but as a woman, I think it is important that the husband, boyfriend, whoever the father is, it's important for you to step up and help us because it's a lot having a baby. If you're a woman, you had a baby, or mama, even stepmom, it's a whole lot. It's a whole lot, right? So, that's pretty the gist of it all. I'm gonna continue to watch the show. I mean, but like I said, people have taken this show and taken Nelly and dragged him up and down and to and fro. They have dissected, brought it back. I was like, "Ooh, my goodness!" But yeah, nevertheless, there's just a whole lot going on there, a whole lot. And then the fact that one more thing, the fact that he went on tour and they're not going and he wasn't helping, I was like, okay. But I do have questions. I do wonder why they. And this is just a question. I didn't see it in the show. I don't know if it was in there or not. But do they not have a nanny that could possibly help her? Yeah, didn't take away that Nelly don't need the help. I'm just saying, like, what else can they do? I don't know. Those are my thoughts on it. Yeah, those are my thoughts. So here's my question for the ladies. And I being a lady, same question for me. And the question is, would you stay and play the long game or this a soft launch into single motherhood? And I think the biggest thing is no one's gonna just run up out of their marriage. I think because of I take that back. Some people might, but like, would you stay in this situation or would you go? I mean, they just got married. They'll figure it out, in my opinion. I know it's not what people probably want to hear, but I just think they're going to be fine. They've been going there and dancing around. They know what to expect from each other. They both have high expectations. They're both in the music industry. Their lives are very demanding. They're entertainers, so they'll figure it out, in my opinion. But that is the question for you today, as a woman. Would you stay with them or would you go? That's pretty much what I'm asking. You know. So let's get into the wrap up, okay? All right. Don't forget to like the video, y'all. Hold on. So yeah, let's get into the wrap up. So tonight's tea wasn't just hot, or actually today, it was historic because I normally come on in the evening time. We watched the past pull up, ring the doorbell, and take center stage. And I'll be in it. And if there's one thing we've learned is that silence protects power, but truth protects peace. Speak yours. So yeah, basically today was basically about truth, um, and you know how the past come back and bite us in the behind. It causes trouble. So there's a lot. So anyway, we'll just go real quick wrap up. We went over Massey. I just did an update on the Massey guy, that inmate. They finally captured him. They have one more to capture, and I do wonder where is he at? Like, where did he go? Because that's one he's been escaped. He's escaped several times, but nevertheless, they don't have one to actually catch. So we went over that. Just a quick review update on that. Then we kind of touched on the Pdiddy case. I didn't go into it in depth because there's so many aspects and so many ways you can talk about Pdiddy's case, and I just choose not to do so. I did give you a timeline so you can see kind of the gist of what is going on. So check the timeline out, and it'll bring you up to date, quick, fast, and in a hurry. Okay. But as far as that, the ex worker came out. There was a good interview that Tasha K had on her channel. I did watch the interview in its entirety. And he just kind of went in again about the freak offs. Like I said before, he was a hot escort. I know people on social media are talking about him, his looks, and all the things. But I mean, we got to think about it, y'all. This was years ago. I mean, maybe he was super fine back then. Maybe he was handsome back then. But then again, it had nothing to do with his face. I'm not trying to be funny. Um, so maybe he was all that and then some. So we've heard a lot of different things about Miss Cassie. I am not taking away from Miss Cassie being abused and all the things, but this does shed a new light on all of it. But it doesn't take away from her being abused. Don't take away that he did bad things. That's not what I'm saying. And some people, by the way, that interview, I was watching the people in the chat, the comments, all the things. Some people were saying he's telling the truth, and some people would say he was a whole liar. So there's that. We seem to be pretty split on this. Some people believe him and some people don't. I don't know. Also, he wrote a book. So I feel like so many people out here money grabbing. I mean, I'm just saying. I'm not really mad at them. Get your money, get your coins. But I seen like so many people are just money grabbing off this whole situation. So then we moved on and we talked about Nelly and our girl Ashanti, one of my favorite entertainment couples. I think they're cute and fabulous together. Again, I'm on that page with them. A lot of people broke Nelly down because he said he wasn't changing diapers. I mean, he could get in there and change the pampers. Stop playing Nelly. But nevertheless, whatever they want to do, again, I'm going to keep saying it. Ashanti know who she married. She's here for it. You can tell she's down for it. She's known this man for years. She knows who she married. So that's basically my actual live on Truth, Trouble, and Tea. And when the past pulls up, okay. So and we have a lot of that going on. Now there's a lot going on right now, and I didn't necessarily add it to this segment. I'm going to go back and do some a little bit of homework because I realized recently Tyler Perry was accused by another. I know, right? His name is Braxton Wells, and I was actually watching. I can't even think of what is her name? Oh yeah, Pam Esquire. Check her out. I mean, she breaks the legal documents all the way down and interprets information for us so we can understand what's really going on. So I listened to a little bit of that. But honestly, I don't know. I thought this was gonna go away. I'm naive, right? So far we have officially two that have accused Tyler Perry in some form or fashion. In this case, Braxton Will, he's not necessarily accusing Tyler per se, but he's accusing someone, I guess, at his I can't think of it, at his company. I guess you'll say that, right? I'm not gonna get into that because I gotta get more details, but I will say it seems pretty interesting. And I'm not saying that nothing happened to him, but it does appear to be another. It feels like a money grab. I don't want to minimize victims if something happened. You know what I mean? I don't want to say that. And I'm not going to say that, but because I need to do some more research. But I don't know. It appears it's a little different. That's what I'm going to say. Also, I think apparently he had already had some type of settlement in place, an NDA, and something else. Blah 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 blah. I'm gonna have to research. I better quit. Nevertheless, I'm just saying. It seems like a lot of money grabbing. Anyway, there's a lot going on in the world today. I just wanted to bring a touch of tea and a little bit of entertainment. There's also some flooding going on in Texas, and multiple people have died. Several kids have died. In fact, they were at camp, and they're still the numbers are still rolling. I know they were able to save some people, and there's a lot going on right now, a whole lot. Nevertheless, I just want to touch base on those topics, something light, but I'm definitely aware of that there's a lot happening. That's the whole point of doing the live, to keep it light and sweet. Anyway, be sure to let me know what you think about in the comment section. Let me know if there's something you want to talk about or just want to have a chit chat about. Just let me know. Even drop in there. Let me know where you're from. Are you from Texas? Because a lot's going on there. Actually, a lot's going on everywhere. Anyway, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for listening. Again, don't forget to hit the like button and leave your comments. Okay. All right. This is Chit Chat with T. I'm your host, Miss T. Please enjoy the rest of your day. I'll be back with another live. I have a couple more things I want to talk about, but I didn't want to cram them all in one live because it makes it long and drawn out. And I want to make it short and sweet for you so you can enjoy it. Okay. Thank you. Have a good afternoon or good evening or good morning, depending on where you are. This is Chit Chat with T. I'm your host, Miss T. Bye bye.
We could be selfish. Spend some nights on
Thank you. Bye bye. Have a good evening. Talk to you soon.